Zhao was shocked when Green asked such a question. They've already said several words, but Green still asked if whether these 8 guys could speak. That was too weird, right? Didn't Green hear them speak? Zhao turned around and looked at Green. Grandpa Green, we've already said several words to each other, didn't you hear us? Green and everyone else shook their heads, which confirmed that although Zhao had a dialogue with these undead people from the mercenary group, Green really didn't hear them. Seeing Zhao puzzled, Marin said, "There are few undead that know how to speak, but these are high-level undead, so they can directly talk to the young master through spiritual power. The young master thinks that he could hear them talking with his ears, but in fact, they're not making a sound." When he heard Marin's explanation, Zhao nodded, then turned around and spoke to the undead black midges. "Since you have called me master, you will no longer use your previous names. I will give you new names. Which one of you was the boss?" One of the undead stepped forward. "Master, I am." "Well, starting today your name is Drunk. The second will be called Hammer. And the next ones will be Mountain, Edge, Punch, Rash, Scales, and Brick." The 8 people accepted it in unison. Although they didn't have that much wisdom or influence, the Spacers let them know that Zhao was their master, so they certainly did not refute Zhao's words. "Now answer my question. Who told you that Laura has this necro orb?" Zhao demanded. Drunk quickly said, "Master, we heard this message from one of the members of the Marquis clan. At first, we didn't believe it, but if what he said was true, then we wanted to get it to enhance our strength." Zhao nodded. It was like he thought, just a struggle within the clan. Nothing remarkable. He then turned to Drunk and said, "Since you call me master, tell me, where are all those good things you robbed over the years?" "Master, although we've been robbing for so many years, we're rarely able to keep the things that we steal. We just took them to the previous master," Drunk immediately said. Zhao's face changed. "Previous master?" "Master, you are mistaken," Drunk quickly said. "Now we don't recognize others as our master. It's just that we grew up with our previous master that adopted us. After we learned magic from him, he sent us out as the Immortal Mercenary Group to collect money to help him, until now." After listening to Drunk, Zhao didn't feel relieved, but instead his mood got heavier. "What is the identity of your previous master?" Drunk shook his head. "We don't know. We rarely see him. His servant takes care of us. Even if we see him, he would be wearing a dark robe that covered up his whole body." Zhao felt more heavy, discovering that the forces behind Drunk and the rest was not so simple. Cultivating these men into 7th-level midges from a young age would require a lot of manpower and financial resources. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was that although it was hard to find someone with a talent for magic out of 1 million people in the continent, it was even more difficult to find someone who was suitable for practicing black magic. And yet the forces behind them were able to find 8 individuals that were talented in black magic. How much power would it take to choose them and train them up? Another point, Drunk and the rest grew up together, but it was clear that they didn't live with their previous master, so while their previous master was living elsewhere, did he also train more of them? If so, then this was an even bigger matter. Green saw that Zhao didn't look so good, so he quickly asked, "Master, what's the matter?" Zhao looked at everyone and explained his conversation with Drunk, as well as the speculations he had made. Everyone's faces grew heavy. Zhao then tried asking Drunk personal things about the previous master that adopted them, but Drunk didn't know anything. They just knew that when they grew up, they would go out as a mercenary group to earn money, then put that money in a designated place, They would rarely meet. The other simply did not contact them, so they didn't know what the situation was. Finding out nothing, Zhao retracted Drunk and the rest back into the space. After all, although the room inside the undead's body was big enough for so many people, it was still very crowded. Green didn't say anything, but no one had a good look on their face. They really found that this time they shouldn't mess with forces that were so big. No one knew how strong was their influence or what their intentions were. But it was certain that these forces weren't so simple. After a moment, Green said, "Master, we don't have to worry too much. No one will think that we have the immortal mercenary group. The Black Waste is a forgotten part of the continent. After we go back there, you can immediately put Drunk and the others in the Carrion Swamp so no one can even find them. We should not have any trouble." Zhao nodded, hoping that things would be so. Now, they were too weak. They would be dead if those forces behind Drunk really discovered that Zhao had the immortal mercenary group, not to mention if the news got out. They would also have to deal with those old nobles from the Xu Empire. Zhao didn't know what to say about this matter, so he put it off for another time. Then he turned to Green and asked, "Grandpa Green, when we get to Casa City, shouldn't we plan ahead and find a place to hold the radishes?" Green nodded. "Yes, Master. Do not worry, there are many places near Casa City. We can buy a small estate so you can hold your radishes and sell them to the people from the Marquis clan." "That's good. But although we did have a preliminary deal with them, now that we have this gold medal, we should get a higher price, right?" Zhao asked. "Yes, this gold medal can really be a large help to us. If we took this gold medal to do business with them, I don't know how they will react, especially Miss Laura." "Master, you're a very powerful black mage, yet you're suddenly selling vegetables." Green laughed. "I think she will be very surprised." Everyone, including Zhao, laughed. Now Zhao had a more firm commitment to their farming. Although they had good strength, with 2 people at the 8th level and so many undead, he still couldn't forget that their enemies were even more powerful. Those old nobles of the Xu Empire, if they knew of the strength that the Buda clan had, they would unite in fear and use the power of the entire empire to destroy them. Plus now Zhao shouldn't provoke the forces behind Drunk and the rest of the undead black mages. If those forces found out about their situation, then Zhao would be finished. So they could only be low-key. But Zhao didn't mind using the piece of gold that Laura gave him. Even if he used it, his identity would only be known as a black mage named Zhao. If someone wanted to trace his origins, they would discover that he came from Montenegro Fortress and nothing else. Montenegro Fortress was a mess. Even if someone were to search harder, they would still not suspect the Buda clan. After all, Adam drank the water of nothingness, which everyone in the continent knew about. And now he had these undead providing the best cover for his identity. No one thought that someone who drank the water of nothingness will be able to summon these undead creatures. So even if someone wanted to check up on him, they would never take notice of the Buda clan. After experiencing a battle, Zhao better understood the truth that strength was supreme in the Ark continent. If he didn't have the strength, would Laura be so kind to him and give him the gold medal? If he didn't have the strength, could he have defeated the 8 undead black mages? If they didn't have the strength, even if they were to earn money, sooner or later it would just be snatched from them.